Hello, I'm Verdier Augusto, and this is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for being here. If you're new here, welcome. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I read all of the comments. I may not reply back, but I at least, if I have thumbs up or given you a heart, I've seen the comment and I appreciate it. Some things just don't need my reply. If you say, hey, thank you, something simple, I'll just give you the thumbs up or whatever. But, I like the interaction, and it's important for me to know how you're doing, what specifically you've learned. That's what I get the most out of. I don't, I don't do this for money. I do this because I want to have a interaction with people about the Schumann resonances and the related stuff. Um, some conversations are better than others. I'll just put it that way. All right. So this is going to be, it's now Monday, the 10th of May. It's 1 in the morning. And I'm going to do a quick video here. This is an update. This is the most local, or I'm sorry, not the, this is the most recent Schumann resonance chart that I could refresh. And so, again, my place in this is not to give you an up to the second reading because you can do that yourself. You can go to the website and get the up to the second view and see it yourself. My place in this is to, as relevantly as possible, to analyze what we're seeing up here. So it takes me a little while to look and address, and then I look around at the other elements that are involved, the solar, and there's a lot. I'm here every day doing this, and so there's a lot to just one of these readings that comes from 8, 10 different sources of what's the sun doing and how's the height of the ionosphere and all these kind of things. So anyway, so this is just going to be a quick video update on the current condition of the Schumann. And this is today's, right behind it. Oh, sorry, this one right here. This is today's view, the 9th. You can see that. And this is the amplitude that you can see, the lines. Okay. All right, so this is the chart as a whole. All right, so what I'm going to do is there we go. All right. So I want you to see the numbers. The other day we were at this, yesterday we were at 110. And I am making the claim that this is due to sunspot activity, largely. We're in increased solar activity, and we see the sun flares CMEs are ramping up, but the sunspots as well. I don't think there's anyone's doubt that we are now in the new sun cycle, and this is technically 26 that we're in. All right, so I want to show this. I have on my website, and I posted in a few other places, the WordPress, Patreon, there's 5 places that I normally post to. My website is one of them. So I have a written version of this, and I'm not going from the script. I'm kind of ad-libbing this as it is based on what I've already done, but also to give you a little different view to this that I may not have presented in, a little bit more in depth if I could, based on, um, you know, going in depth with the image. God, that's a mouthful. But I just basically want to give you a little different view of this than just reading it from the script. I've done that enough times. That's what I like doing about these, is I can kind of keep progressing the description and keep progressing things as we talk about it. And I discuss this with you guys in the comments and whatever about what's happening and the questions you have about what I've said, and redressing certain issues, whatever. So, all right. So the first thing here we're looking at is that amplitude is just nearly, it's just very, very calm. And you see a little bit of the red here bumping up, a little bit of the green bumping up. remember this first one is amplitude. This is the uprights. This is the spikes. So this will be, in theory, the height of the this is the what they call the vertical channel. This is the height of the signal. Okay. So today there's not much of a height of the signal. It's all down here in the magnetics and the frequency. And today is one of those great days to show you what is happening with the Schumann resonances without the influence of white mode amplitude spikes in there. Okay, so I want to point you out to the fact that um, on today, there's been a relatively, you look at the activity for the rest of the last couple hours, 48 hours, and you see there's been after the amplitude burst, there's some magnetics that is picked up in the atmosphere, and that's what magnetics do. After a burst, they just keep going on. After an amplitude burst, they keep going on and on and on. I've been around the world and I. The spikes here in the quality will give you a fatter band. Again, this is the magnetics. Quality is magnetics. Quality is the horizontal. Frequency is the measurement of the horizontal waves. So you see there's always some activity in the going here horizontally, and especially you get these big bumps here of those yesterday's bumps. But you see it's magnetics are always active because they're going around the world and they just keep kind of going and going and going for a while. But what happens is eventually they become the Schumann resonances and just vibrate in place. They just keep going around and around and around and then reestablish that ringing, the humming. I am resistant to call it a ringing because people get the wrong idea, but a humming is the more proper way to put that. And your nervous system interprets that, perhaps, maybe not in all cases, but may interpret that humming as a ringing. The resonances are a hum, but the ringing is what you perceive. When you point your finger at the moon, make sure not to confuse your finger with the moon. All right. So you see frequency. These are jumps. Frequency is in here as well. You can see the uprights of the amplitude. That's here. No uprights except down here in the lower range. Those are not necessarily uprights. They kind of are, but they're not the same as these spikes. When you're thinking of the spikes, you think of this. These are a different sort of thing. Right? I'm not sure how to explain it. You have the quality, like I said, is the magnetics. You have a peak here, 17. These are picoteslas. Not at the same time. You had another peak at 9.7. When you look at this peak here, you got to look at what's underneath it, what the rest of it does at that particular time. And it's sort of the same thing with all of this across the board, that when you're looking at it from one perspective, one mode, not one perspective, but if you look at it from one mode, you're thinking it does one thing, and then what happens is that a lot of times people aren't looking at the whole picture of that column within the time. So that's what I'm talking about, the column within the time. So this here, from 22 to 0, you have this column here, this activity. You're looking at this activity. You're not comparing this peak over here with that peak over there, because that peak happened a number of hours ago. Each of these is 2 hours. So that was, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 hours before that. Right? So you have to look at the chunk of time that this spike is below it. So that's more of what I would call a dip. It sort of spiked and then it dipped. You see that the kind of dip down here to the bottom. Where is it? The bottom is right here, 5. That's 5. So this was rising and rising, rising. It reached 6.8, which is more than halfway up the chart. Right? That peak is more than halfway up. And then it dipped down to nearly the bottom. You see the 5? That's the floor right there. It's not a zero absolute. It's not the absolute value of 0. The absolute value of it is 5. But this is the starting point. That's the floor of this. So you have to look as well, like I said, and the other ones as well. And this one here, this was 8.12. That's more than half of the 10. So half of the 10 would be 5. That's down actually here, right? It's going by what, the mean. I did a thing on that about the mean and the mode and all this kind of stuff. So you look at the diurnal variations. What's happening in here is that's not a nice curve. It's bumping there in the middle. That's the middle of the day, 12 local time. So during the middle of the sun, you're getting a boost in quality, and a boost in frequency that does not seem to have a component in the quality. So you have a burst in frequency that doesn't have a burst in the quality. The quality is the actual magnetic waves themselves. The frequency is the measurement from wave to wave. So you see it's picking up. These are 21,000, unless I'm mistaken, these are like 21,300 kilometers. That's what this number is. That should be a comma there. But this 21,000, that's 8,000, 14,000. This is 25,000 kilometers. Wave peak from peak to peak. And so you see down there, it starts at 23.9 up to 25,000 kilometers. All right, so that is, all right, I'm almost at 15 minutes here. All right, so you can see one of the things I wrote is right around 5 o'clock. Same thing here, 5 o'clock it starts, ends at around 2300. 5 o'clock it starts, ends around 2300. You got these peaks right there, but they're not amplitude spikes, right? See that? These are not amplitude, technically. There's really an ending. See, that's what that is. It's a burst in the quality. That's what that is. See how these are all the way through? Ding, 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 from the bottom to the top. All right. And they're different from the amplitude spikes, because the amplitude spikes have a fountain sort of thing. You see that. Boom. Quality doesn't spike. Quality is not a spiky kind of thing. Quality is the horizontal. So if the quality is spiking, then that means it's a heavy flux. And you see that one, it's registering this right here, that spike right there at 22, almost 23 and a half. Oh, yeah, you see right there, that's at 22, and there's another one at 23, which is that one. That one there, I would say. Well, you look at this, there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. All right, and there's 3 there. So 1, 2, 3. Right? Dips, ping, goes up. It had already been pretty high. You see this is white mode. That's, the color of it is like a kind of baby blue, but that's white, essentially the white mode there. And it's the same thing with these. The quality doesn't necessarily spike, but you see it is spiking, and it's in a band. It's centered in the band. You see that? I've shown this before. It's centered in the band. Ding, ding, ding. And how am I saying it's centered? All right. Can I get in here anymore? Actually, hold on. Let me. Okay. So the phrase centered on the band. All right. What am I saying? What do I mean? All right. This right here, all of this right here, our harmonic is this right here. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm good. All right, so our harmonic is this guy right here. All right. Boop. This is our harmonic of 7.0. This is our fundamental harmonic of 7.8. Now, when I say it's centered on the band, right, you see these right here, the activity going on right here. All that activity. All that activity happening there. Okay, it's not randomly out here somewhere. It's not randomly out here or out here. All right. It's right here on the band. So when we talk about, I use the expression mid-grade electrics. There's a lot of different expressions I use for to kind of differentiate different parts relative to what I'm talking about. But the mid-grade electrics, mid-grade magnetics, those are that color there of the orange and the rust color, the maroon, the burgundy, that all of that kind of mid-grade quality. It's not white, it's not yellow. It starts getting into a vibrant yellow and a vibrant orange, and then rust and red and coral and all that kind of range, and into the maroon range where you start seeing some of that. Like that's a rust color. This right here is a rust color. uh I would say burgundy rust color, somewhere around there. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. I'm looking at is the quality, the color quality. Like that's kind of like how you might think of it best, is the quality of the color, ranging from your, if you know color, general basic color theory of yellow and red together equals orange. Well, more yellow is a brighter orange, more red gives you a darker orange. Okay. But when we, especially on days like these where we see it's mostly magnetic and frequency, you can get a much, much better understanding and idea of how the magnetics and the frequency work together. There's little to no amplitude behavior going on. What you're left with, what you're stuck with, is the almost entirely the magnetics and the frequency working together. And I don't always get a chance to show you that because there's always a lot of hubbub about the amplitude and the spikes, and it's peaking and I'm peaking and we're freaking, and like this kind of a thing. And so very seldom enough do I get a chance to have a perfect learning model, perfect teaching model of just the quality and the magnetics together. But that's basically what today is. This is the functioning of the quality and the magnetics together. And it's sort of what I kind of alluded to here, and the title, when I said calm amplitude with busy exchanges between quality and frequency. And that's generally speaking what I mean here, of having a fairly big interchange between the quality and the magnetics. The quality, which is magnetics, and the frequency, which is the measurement thereof. Okay, I think I'm starting to trip over my words now. I don't know. But thank you all for coming here today. I appreciate you being here. The conversations with you all make it worthwhile to be here. It's a lot of work to put on one of these things. For every half an hour of produced video, it takes me at least a half an hour to get the material, and then there's checking it all. And so every 1 minute of video takes 4 minutes eventually when it's done. That includes it itself. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I really had a lot of fun on the premiere that we did. I'm gonna go back to doing live streams, I think, kind of soon. I'm up for it. I have been not that well up until recently. I'm getting better. Every day it's a different thing for me. Some days better than others. Some days I want to be here more than others. So, your comments help me to want to be here. I don't know how to say that better than that. The love, support, the comments I get from the terrific 10 of you, and the 10 changes from month to month or week to week. Some people move, I don't hear from them again or whatever, and then they come back, and all right. And I just tell you that with the greatest assurity. There's the comments that I get from people that you've learned something that makes it worth being here. There's not. I'll just put it at that, leave it at that. Those of you who've been around know exactly what I mean. Thank you all for being here. I got to go. I got to post this. Thank you. Much love.